over 600 games of Ultimate played this week. The final match of the WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships awaits. The 48 teams that started the mixed division campaign last Saturday have been whittled down to 2. And just like the welcome the teams from 36 countries have received from the over 700 volunteers, just like the opening ceremonies, fanfare and flags, just like the skydiving Star-Spangled Banner, our final is all American. From Boston, Massachusetts, 9th seed Slow White have already dispatched the top seed Seattle Mixtape, and now with a shot at the other Seattle mixed team, 3rd seed BFG. With both sides undefeated coming into this, it promises to be a thrilling test of Ultimate. Alongside Emmy Fitzgerald, this is Tom Stiles. Emmy, what are BFG going to have to do to end the Slow White fairy tale?
Well, they're going to have to come out strong right away, and their captain said they really want to have each other's back. That's the message that they've had to each other as they start with the disc. Truly team effort to get that first score.
Mixed final. And a big deep disc to Rina Kawabata, who brings it under control for the first point for BFG. The WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships, the final matchup in the mixed division.
Kawabata, longtime player on Traffic, moved to the Seattle area and joined BFG. She brings a lot of experience and closing speed to get that first goal of the game.
And one thing we didn't get to mention in our intro, little quick off the mark here, both these teams in the mixed final, was the fact that we're playing indoors, Emmy. The fields yesterday were washed out with multiple lightning delays, and the forecast was the same for today. So we've brought the whole World Championships into a sports hall.
Exactly, and it is different conditions, and both teams said they've had to really look past that and not think about it, that it is indoors, there's no wind.
You see a hammer pull. I wonder if we'll see many more of those. So Slow White, ironically, in black. BFG, oh, and two players clash. But Slow White have it still. Quick movement. Just shy of the end zone now. It's with Westgate. And eventually finding a way through to Alex Trahey. Puts in the first point for Slow White. So Slow White in the black shirts, BFG in the white. It's a East Coast, West Coast battle.
And it's a battle of different teams with different programs. BFG in their 3rd year of competition. Last year, their 2nd year as a team, they placed 3rd at U.S. Club Nationals. Slow White has been around since 2004. Their most recent national title was in 2016, and they had an upset against Seattle Mixtape, the defending champions, to get here. They beat another Boston squad wild card in the semifinal last night, and pretty interesting.
Yesterday's semifinals were a very unusual affair. All the teams had a chance to play the first half before the first of the lightning hooters went out. We had about 2.5 hours sheltered. The all clear was given. The players went back out to the fields, just about finished their warm-up, and then the lightning started striking again, and the fields were cleared, and they stayed clear for the rest of the day. And everybody was really rushing off the fields with lightning, some very low clouds, some very heavy rain. A big storm coming through the Cincinnati area.
And the rain continued today, so the organizing committee said, you know, we don't want to put our players through this on again, off again, and potentially dangerous scenarios.
Now the Thunder was waking up the commentary team in our hotel last night as well. Very significant front of weather moving through. Both these teams have to put that out of their mind now. Disc slightly high and wayward, but safely into the hands of Lindsay Simon-Fox. And down to Kelly. Up the line, off-handed pass as well. Smooth work to Pape. Pape with that inside break. Kirkland slipping on this turf surface, but eventually Pape regains position. Centre of the field. Adam Simon. Kawabata with the disc in hand, but a slow white player has gone down heavily, and they're going to take a substitution.
On this turf field, since it is very, very short, the players look very fast when they're running, but at the same time, it's not forgiving like grass. So there are slips and falls, and players really needing to have some quick footwork for those starts and stops.
Kawabata. Kelly. Back to Pape. Pape into the end zone, but Pape's disc had a little bit too much pepper on it. The hand was there, the reception was not. It's a turnover, and BFG with a confident-looking offensive point, Emmy, resulting in a turnover.
They were so crisp and clean working it all the way up the field, but the most difficult pass is the one into the end zone, because that's the one that counts the most.
Deep shot, straight away, the long bomb downfield. Oh, it's read beautifully. Lexi Zolk, the receiver, taking a little bit of contact for a trouble as well. But a big break early in the game for Slow White.
Credit the throw of that huck. It looked like Zolk and Kawabata were running stride for stride. And you see coming in to get that turn, the conversion so crucial. Big backhand goes up, and Zolk reads it so well. She's a go-to receiver for this Slow White squad, but it ends up so well put. She still has to watch it in, but it goes over her defender. So now Slow White takes a 2-1 lead early in this first half of play.
The team from Boston coming down on defense again. Oh, and the disc has hit the ceiling. They go through the ceiling, went through the ceiling, no contact made.
That was a really narrow passageway it fit through.
Deep shot downfield, gonna have to run hard, but Kieran Kelly locked eyes on the disc from the brick mark onwards. Never looked in doubt. BFG with a quick one-pass score.
Kelly, a former standout on Seattle Sockeye. He has so much Worlds experience and Nationals level experience, and you could see that closing speed beautifully on display as he turned on the afterburners to go get that disc.
Nice put downfield as well. Out to the sideline, into the power position. Getting the disc out under a lot of Slow White pressure as well. Tied up at 2 apiece, but Slow White with a break to the good.
And talking about that pole that went straight through the rafters, it was caught and played on. Had it hit any metal, it would have gone back for a repull.
There you go. The WFDF have had to come up with some interesting rules to allow for this adaptation indoor final. So it's basically like a second serve. If you throw your first pull into the rafters, you get a second go. After that, it's a bricked pull. Slow White under a lot of pressure, having to make a reset pass to Trahey, and a hammer exploiting the lack of wind, but high in the air. Andrew Hagen grabs and brings it down for the D.
Andrew Hagen on the Revolver roster in 2017, now playing with BFG.
Swinging the full width of the field, Mario O'Brien now with the disc and a quick set of passes. Almost a run-through block, but BFG still have it. Bladen to O'Brien. O'Brien with a little knifey flick into space. Players starting to learn that they can throw anything in these conditions. No wind. It's the one thing that I think some of the comments on social media watching the teams play in these conditions is it's very obvious that these teams don't play indoors very much because they're not using the sorts of throws that you would see an indoor team put.
I don't know, though. I would think with the conditions in Boston, they were more likely to play some indoor, but I dare say a team perhaps from Minnesota or Cleveland have a lot. However, we did see a hammer pull already. You don't see that too much in grass, but you also, the converse, you don't see these crazy upside down throws, but some of the hucks have not been completed because there's no wind to give it that float.
Yes, we've been hearing from some of our player analysts, a lot of them real artists of throwing with the wind as an extra thrower. Rising, but clever feet from the BFG receiver. Touches down inside the end zone. And it's another break back. One break apiece, we're back on serve. BFG 1 point up.
You could see the composure of BFG as they were looking to convert the break. We have seen teams, as soon as they get the disc with their D-line offense, there's a little bit of nervousness or frenetic energy. I didn't see that at all from BFG. So much experience and composure. Neither team is going to make it easy for the other.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Welcome back to wall-to-wall soccer here in Mason, Ohio. The venue for this mixed division final game. The chance to call yourselves the world champions. Downfield pass, Slow White in the black shirts. Westgate combining with Johnson. Johnson across to go. Good movement from the team in black. Go on the sideline, looking for a reset. High disc to Smith. Good cross-field cut from Johnson, who jabs it into the end zone. Nice handler movement there, Emmy. Good offensive point from Slow White.
Really great offensive point, and you could see Tanner Johnson working as maybe every 3 passes or so, actually out of a cutting position. So you have strong handlers, but when you have a core of players who can rotate in and out from handler to cutter, it causes additional defensive adjustments because your positioning needs to change, and they hardly held on to the disc for 6 counts. They got it out of their hands before then, had success with that.
And using the whole roster as well there, all the players rotating through those handler positions, coming out of the stack, taking the disc, resetting it, swinging it around. Textbook offense, not looking for the deep shot on that occasion, happy to work it up with all the passes required.
And that's really the Slow White system and way. They will send it deep. We saw that beautiful put to Zalk earlier, but they will also work it with the unders. And when you can give both of those threats, that you're not telegraphing what you're going to do to the defense. That's why they're a great team and playing in the finals at WCC.
And that early deep shot is often a tactic used by teams to just establish the fact that we are going to threaten deep. And now they're threatening on defense as well. Barron with the block. It's been a call on the play. Contact made between the two. Not managed to capture that.
If this does go too slow, this is an opportunity to get another break.
And it's been contested. You see Ruben Berg, one of our two game advisors, stepping in. Game advisors don't make any active calls.
You should get where you were when it was thrown.
Comes back in. BFG starting their offensive point again. Turner marking, Kelly with the disc.
And you can see BFG ladies doing an over-under defense.
Kawabata passes down the line, a call on the play.
Sometimes when you have this over-under, that causes some picks, but if you're switching, there's some discussion on, okay, well, who were you guarding when that happened? Does it actually count as a pick?
Another conversation taking place in midfield. This down the line, getting very close. Not quite there yet. A few calls creeping into this game, Emmy.
And it's a high-stakes game, both teams saying, oh, we're going to play like it's not a high-stakes game, but the fact of the matter is, it is, and tied.
Running hard, Crystal Koo. Two players from BFG cut out of the stack. It's Chang who has it. Kawabata with a little hop in. And then the assist into the end zone.
So Slow White had the opportunity to break, but it was called back with a contest on the foul. So BFG is able to convert. They took more passes to do so. It took a little bit longer, but they had that patience in the red zone, almost completing multiple times, but they're finally able to make that next pass work.
It's a very close game that we've got here in the mixed division final. BFG 4-3 up.
And these two teams were actually in the same pool at U.S. Nationals in 2017. Slow White won in pool play 15-13, but then BFG won later on in the bracket 13-8. So the series is 1-1.
And both times those teams have played, been a good game. There's been close run things. We're expecting similar here. A lot more at stake. A gold medal on the line. in Cincinnati. Slow White with Johnson. Center of the field. Zolk. Chang has it and a travel's been called. Mary O'Brien calling that. O'Brien taps back in. Playing a lot of small discs here, keeping it moving. No expansive play, a big bid. And into the end zone, Tommy Rocky Ferguson with the point for Slow White, tying it up at 4 each.
And what a throw. That angle was perfect to give Tommy Ferguson his 17th goal of the tournament. Looked a little bit risky with the defender, but despite the bid, Ferguson with that focus to be able to come straight to it. Tommy Ferguson out of Duke University, but he's from Philadelphia, living in Philadelphia, but plays with the Slow White team. Got a shot there of Marshall Goff, the Slow White coach. Marshall is a twin. His twin brother Adam is also a coach of an elite level mixed team.
I wonder what happens when two coached teams by two rival coaches that eventually end up playing each other.
Well, this is the first time they've played coached teams in the same division. Adam has previously been a women's coach.
Maybe it'll happen. Not today, though. Coup for BFG. Team from Seattle, clever feet from Kirkland, keeping that disc alive. Kawabata is found down the line. The shot from Kirkland weighted right into that front cone. Kawabata's cut, timed to perfection.
And you can see that connection works so well. And Kawabata had so much separation. Despite a closing defender, that was a really well-timed cut to get to that disc.
Now the 28-year-old from Vancouver, living in the Seattle area now. Has represented Canada as part of the World Games team. As she was part of the training squad, didn't get the chance to travel to Wrocław. She previously represented Canada at both under-23s and under-19s, an established figure in Canadian Ultimate. Slow White receiving that long pull at the back of the end zone with all the work to do here. And a mistake early in the point. Disc behind the receiver, it goes to ground. BFG with an opportunity for their second break of the game. Disc around. Coleman finds Lee. Coleman's available on the far side of the field via Piquel. Coleman back to Lee. Lee, nicely weighted pass into space.
And Lexi Zolk for Slow White is doing a great job sealing off the continuation throws. She sometimes isn't within 10 feet to start the mark, but the way her positioning is and then the way the downfield defender is, the throw is more difficult to be made.
It's that sixth sense of where the threat is coming. High grab required. But it's Leah Baron-Simmons takes in the grab for BFG.
And another break for BFG. Just some miscommunication from the slow white side, but once again, you turn it over, you may not get the disc back, as is the case here. So right now, BFG leads slow white 6-4.
Just the one break in it.
If you want to be a high performer, eat like one. Start with a balanced diet and drink plenty of water. Good nutrition is one of the best ways to boost your mental and your physical health.
The pull rises across the sports hall and deep into the slow white end zone. Running up, 3 men back line. Zolk.
I really like that matchup of Hagan on Johnson. They're putting one of their best defenders on someone who has been very crucial in this slow white offense.
Agnew available as the reset. Downfield to Sullivan. Sullivan finding Johnson. Centers again. Sullivan and Johnson combining nicely. What an inside shot that is. Opens up the whole field. Drops the shoulder low. Releases a perfectly weighted, firmly weighted flick into the end zone. And Tommy Ferguson grateful to see that one slicing its way through the defense.
And sometimes outdoors, those throws don't work because it gets caught by the wind, but Tommy Ferguson sees it. He has that opening over on the break side. Just cuts right through to register his second goal of the game.
That's a great pass. Camera angle there, just showing the spacing and movement.
Tanner Johnson getting the assist. He's a young player with a lot of experience, though. He was on Boston Ironside. He played Ultimate at a camp called NUTC. Just loved it immediately. And has had a long youth Ultimate career as well.
Both these D-lines have been 100% efficient so far, so if they are getting the disc, they are scoring those points. 2 from 2 for BFG. Just the 1 from 2 for slow white. So the 1 from 1 for slow white. Disc rises through the hall. It's going to be chased down, pressure bidding, but it's perfectly weighted. And Kieran Kelly, again, Kelly, the deep receiver of choice for BFG.
Kieran Kelly, second time we've seen that phenomenal closing speed. And he knew as soon as that disc went up that that was his for the catching. And this is also a good example of non-same third hucks as well. Kelly came from the far third of the field. The throw was on the near third, and that gave him so much room to run onto it, and he could use all of the speed that he had to beat the defender to that wonderfully put throw.
BFG in the driving seat here at the WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships, the final match, the mixed division final, the gold medal at stake.
And Ulti World's power rankings for BFG as of July 12th in the U.S. at least, they were ranked number 4. And their seeding reflected that. They were ranked third, seeded third coming into this, now playing for that title.
Slow White starting their tournament as the 9th seed, worked their way up. A big victory over Seattle Mixtape, the number 1 seeded team in the quarterfinal. Saw them progress and then beating the other Boston side, Wild Card.
They did have an ultimate point victory against Moviedisc. That was decided 14-13 earlier on in the tournament. And we have seen a pattern with teams that if they had closer games earlier on in the tournament, they've had more success later on. Some teams, they made it through, great positioning in the bracket, but untested, sometimes it was more difficult once they faced that.
Yes, and that's a pattern we've seen through World Championships past as well. Untested teams getting knocked out early on in the bracket. Both these teams coming through bracket play looking strong. Slow White's game against Wildcard yesterday was almost decided before it started. The second half, they were 8-4 up after the first half. And with those time-restricted second halves played under the inside, deep shot from Slow White being chased down all the way, and Jeff Smith makes no mistake collecting for the team in black. Within 1 again, Emmy.
And there needed to be more angle on that flick, but what a nice look from Vicky Chang as she puts that up for Smith. The 32-year-old who's played on this team since 2009. Another Duke Ultimate player. But that throw from Vicky Chang was just so good.
He says his parents and maybe his brother and his wife will be watching as well. I hope his brother and his wife are watching. It's the finals.
I'm really glad I was watching to see that great reception and score and that really awesome throw from Chang.
And a good variation in the tactics from both these teams, able to throw the long disc, but also able to work it through the handlers and the resets, swinging the disc around and playing a bit more short disc. The game is nicely balanced.
But the onus now is really on this Slow White D-line to get a break. They're aware of that, but it's their time to go.
Currently trailing by 1 break, and bidding hard but cannot make contact. Kelly maintains possession. And he has it back again now. Looking downfield. Now has to reset back across. Pape, and a pick called. Disc will come back to the center of the field. Jeff Pape. Coming in on 0. Taps back in for BFG. Looks the deep shot, the fast running Chang was available. Goes back to Koo. Koo passed down to Kelly was clean, but Kelly was unmarked because Tanner Johnson had been blocked, calls the pick, comes back to Koo.
And you saw Johnson on the O-line earlier. He's now playing defense, registering a lot of points in this championship game.
High disc. Rina Kawabata positions her body well as she approaches it. Kelly with the shot to the end zone, and in full flight, Bryson Simon Fox takes that one in. Slow White with no answer to the BFG offense in the latter part of this first half. The team in white take the first half 8-6.
And Kieran Kelly, an experienced player, throwing to Bryson Simon Fox, another experienced player for BFG to convert again. They're still up by 2. They lead 8-6.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome,
regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds.
And even defy gravity.
a place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh,
where we learn to trust,
and eventually even learn to fly.
a place where character, community, and competition
Are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play Ultimate, we live Ultimate.
So we can be on.
BFG are leading this 8-6, and at half, Hannah Pendlebury down on the sideline alongside Lily Gu.
So Lily, you must be delighted to come out strong in this first half. How are you feeling?
I feel really awesome. I feel really in love with my teammates.
And so we've seen some slightly different approaches to the offense in terms of your O-line and D-line. Why is that?
Well, it makes strategic sense to set up a little bit differently if you start on offense rather than if there's a turn somewhere on the field and then you have to set up. So we just have different O-looks for different lines.
Is there any adjustments you're going to make going into the second half, or is it just going to be the same game plan, same story?
Same game plan. We're going to play our game. Same story. We don't really care about the outcome. We're here to play with one another.
Excellent. Well, good luck. And we'll send it back to you, Tom.
Tom Stiles and Emmy Fitzgerald alongside you for this mixed division final. And we have a feature to show you now. It's the oldest rostered player here at WUCC is 62. His name's John Watanabe. He's playing with Kamuso Club from Kenya. John's an important staple to both Kamuso and the growth of Ultimate in Kenya. Through the science lab he runs back home, John is also called Doc, and he brings his young lab techs out to the field to learn confidence and accountability through the spirit of Ultimate. We've got a little feature to show all about John and his play in Kenya right now.
John Waitube, I play for Kisumu Football Club. It's been a long journey coming. We come from the western part of Kenya, along the shores of Lake Victoria. Unfortunately, our 8 great players could not come to the Wilds because they didn't get the visas. They're young, they don't have steady jobs, so probably they are considered a risk. So we really don't have our best. But here we are. I'm 62 years old. I've been playing for the last 4 years. Nobody believes I'm 62. You're 42, you're 50. Being the oldest person playing at the Wilds is great. I told my children, my grandchildren have to be much younger than me. I want to see them the youngest ever playing at the Wilds.
Back here we see the BFG team in white, currently up 8-6. 2 breaks, but Slow White have had a strong first half as well. They've shown they can break back when they need to. And they're going to start the second half with disc in hand, Emmy. Bit of work to do yet, though.
Yes, well, they do need to get the break back. Both teams showing poise and confidence. So far, BFG being able to convert slightly more than Slow White. But there is still a lot of Ultimate yet to be played, and we're just a couple minutes away from that.
Join us back in a moment for more action here from the World Ultimate Club Championship Finals. Cincinnati are our hosts for the final games. The tournament organizing committee bringing the finals indoors because of the weather. Lightning delays caused all of the semis to be cut very short. Didn't give the players enough of an opportunity, in some cases a bit of salt from some of the teams, but the results of those semis stood. We had some incredible atmospheres last night, and in the finals they've brought them inside again, protected from the elements. And Tom Stiles and Emmy Fitzgerald bringing you this mixed final. BFG and Slow White, some of the action from the first half showing to you now.
You really have to credit these teams for adapting well. It is different conditions, but anytime you're in a competition, there will be controllables and there will be uncontrollables. And those are signs of mental toughness and success in a team, to control what you can control and let go of what you can't control. If you focus on what you can do, you'll be successful, just like we heard from Lily Gu in the halftime interview.
We have seen in that first half segment there some of the incredible throws that are being pulled off. No wind to disturb the disc in flight, and throwers taking advantage. As the disc flies high through the soccer center and into the hands of Vicky Chang. Quickly moves it upfield. Slow White in black, BFG in white, ironically. They must have lost the flip for the colors.
And the fronts of their jerseys are kind of a black on black, but very grateful for the beautifully nice contrast for their names and numbers, so we can identify them so well. I like that kit.
Slow White, Zolk. Another call on the field. Players colliding, pick's been called. Tap back in. Coming out of the stack is Johnson. Cut's running a little bit slow from Slow White, but a disc from Ferguson into the end zone, watching the feet in the corner of the end zone. Johnson making no mistake.
Tommy Ferguson has been all over the place for Slow White, and Johnson, drawing a very difficult defensive matchup, did a great job getting spacing. He used his deep cut to come back under in a vert stack that was pretty far away from the handlers. And when you keep your defender moving like that so much, you're able to get open and find that success.
See the feet, knew where the line was, concentrate on where the disc was, and good collection for the point. So Slow White doing what they needed to do at the start of this second half and hold their offensive line. Now the D-line with the work to do. They are down a break. BFG with the advantage. We've seen big break runs in these finals so far, Emmy.
We have Riot certainly went on a break run earlier, but I think that's what's really fun for defense. If you're on D-line, you know you have to go out and make a play. It is more than just waiting for a miscue. That's a gift. That's a bonus if that happens.
We see the disc hit the ceiling here in the sports hall, and it'll be taken back for a re-pull. The rule is similar to tennis. You get 1 second serve. If the disc hits the ceiling again, it'll be a bricked pull.
And it is kind of a mulligan, knowing that teams have not been able to prepare for a long time. However, we have seen teams in those shortened semifinals and the finals, the pullers will immediately come in and test the height of the ceiling to try and adjust their pulls.
The commentary team came in and started testing the height. In Toner, the first thing he did is when he had a disc in his hand, started throwing long hammers to see if the ceiling was going to cause any problems. It didn't. backfield with Ku. Kawabata. Scuba. Right on the line in front of our cameras to Kelly. Working up to Adam Simon. Ku makes a nice line cut, but it's reset. Kelly has it. Adam Simon makes the cut across the front. Kawabata. Disc finds her. This is nice from BFG. Pape. Again out to Adam Simon. Call on the play. Better movement from BFG this time, Emmy.
It is. They're moving it really quickly. The defenders are really tight, so sometimes you get some picks that come out of that.
Ku. Nearly there and into the end zone. Goes to the knees. BFG with another offensive point. This game has been so clean. So far, we've only had 3 turnovers, and they've all resulted in breaks. So 3 turnovers, 3 breaks, but apart from that, it's been clean offensive holds.
And the offense for BFG is fast-paced, but on that point, it looked like they dialed it up a notch. They're maybe a half speed faster, you would say, as they moved the disc very quickly through, despite the stoppage of play that didn't disrupt their rhythm that sometimes happens. And they converted where they needed to keep that 2-goal lead.
Just mixed final, showing us the very highest quality ultimate. Only 3 turnovers.
That's remarkable, isn't it?
Slow White with 2 of them. Neither D-line turning when they have had the disc. It can be quite frustrating when you are on the D-line to come out and just play D again and again and again, never touch the disc. Sometimes for an entire game when the ultimate is this high quality. Zolk for Slow White. On the line, it's Chang. Quick movement from Trahey. Keeps the disc, but big pressure arriving all the time. BFG snapping at the heels. Zolk again. Through the gap. Kyle Terrier had his back turned, almost threw an arm out there and could have got a block if he'd done so.
It's good. All contact was avoided there.
Caitlin Go. Back to Zolk. Go had made a great cut, but a little bit of BFG poach off defense, just taking that lane away. Really quick awareness. Smith, travel called. Resets, gets back on with it again. Go. This is better from Slow White, really moving the disc quickly. Johnson. Johnson cuts again. Cuts look like they're dried up for a second there, but they're back in action with Trahey, who throws away across field. Frustration from Slow White, and our 4th turnover of the game.
So BFG was forcing backhand. And if you watched my Instagram story, you heard Ian Toner talking about how that is advantageous from a defensive mark because these big flick blades are more common and easily done indoors.
So BFG with the disc, but a lot of work to do to capitalize. The defensive offense have been very impressive so far, keeping that disc alive despite a hand on it. Throw away again, and the first time a D-line has turned the disc. Slow White with another opportunity to hold their offense.
And BFG wanted to take care of that right away, but there was no float on that disc. It was moving at a quick pace. This gives Slow White that chance to hold. Still down 1 break.
The conditions in here are so still, and indoor specialists will be watching and wondering why there aren't any sort of more indoor throws. But these teams have come here to play in the wind and in the rain. Big grab goes up, and I think as he was diving to the floor, Steve Sullivan must have thought that the point was beyond him, but a good teammate backing up.
And BFG had some switching going on between the defenders on Zulk and Go. That caused Go to be open earlier, so she would have the hockey assist. Actually, she had the assist to be able to send it into the end zone, but just enough of that miscommunication allows Zulk to get there at the back of the end zone. And you can see as Sullivan is diving, he looks up, oh, it's saved. That's teamwork.
Lexi Zulk won 2016 Nationals with this team. So yes, that's right, with Slow White. He's played with the team in 2011 and 12 and 16 and 17. Also he has played a couple of years with Bent.
Bent, the women's team out of New York City. Always a really strong squad. And also Middlebury College, which is now in the D3 division, and they were currently represented this past year at D3 Nationals.
BFG still lead by one. Still lead by one break. Possession absolutely crucial in this mixed division final. Slow White forcing BFG back. Chang has it. Finally, they're able to come out of their own end zone. Bryce and Simon Fox, they might be going back in there in a minute, looking for the reset. It's a float backwards to Pape. They are back in their end zone. Chang and Pape exchange discs, but Pape looking for Kawabata to come back underneath. She didn't. She headed off to the end zone, and the disc goes to turf. Slow White with the chance for the break back. Get them on even keel again at 9 apiece, but they're not there yet. Reset to the center field, and down to Barron. Only the second time this Slow White defense have had the discs in their hand all game. See how they handle the pressure with Chris Waite on the disc at the moment. Reset and a pick downfield. Real pressure on this D-line now, Emmy. Can they put it in?
And they've already set up in their end zone formation. It's a angled vertical stack with even the handler starting at the one, something we saw from a lot of the Japanese teams running vertical stack.
It was Nelson that initiated. Pass to Waite. Back to Nelson again now. Barron. Johnson. Cross field to Turner. Looking for options in the end zone. Johnson again. Nelson darting back. Gets the reset disc in the dump position. Patience. Pick called. The disc seemed to have been released already. Johnson will have it on the brick mark. The chance to level this game at 9 apiece. Float across the end zone. It was out in front of Mia Bladin. Goes to the turf. All that possession came to nothing.
Bladin cut in towards the stack and then cut out, but not sure if she was confident that Johnson was going to release it. So she was maybe clearing back in. And that throw was pretty low to the ground anyway.
Timeout called.
There were a lot of passes in that point.
And one of the exciting parts about this final is the fact it's being held indoors. And we're now going to be joined on the sideline, Hannah Pendlebury, alongside Brian Gissell, to tell us more about that.
Thanks, Tom. I'm here with Brian Gissell. Tom, it's an incredible venue you found us, Brian. How did that all come about?
Well, I have to say it's the local organizers that found it, but we didn't know about this place till about 1 o'clock Friday afternoon when we had that second lightning delay. We knew we couldn't get stuff in. We had to come up with a backup. They started talking about this venue, had to come take a look. I think it was out here at about 4 o'clock. By the time we got off the fields, by 4:30 we'd signed the contract. We'd rented the scissor lift for the broadcast. At 6:30 there were games. So amazing turnaround.
What was the biggest challenge you found?
Absolutely the logistics. You need to start thinking about everything you need. Medical, you need water, everything for the broadcasting team. You need the tape on the ground, you need the cones, the signage, all that stuff. You just got to think about it all in one package, and we had 2 or 3 hours to get it together.
And who was the biggest help?
All the volunteers. They came out like lightning out of nowhere. They just came. There were tons of blue shirts running around doing everything. They got it done. They're why we're here today.
Well, thank you ever so much for that, Brian. We'll send it back to you, Tom.
Thanks, Hannah. And perfectly timed as the disc comes back in from BFG in their own end zone. Slow White took the disc off them, miscommunication between the handlers, but they've given it back now. Chang. Blady shot downfield to Kelly. Kelly's looking for options deep, sees nothing. Now he has the fast cut of Alexa Kirkland as the target. Getting the disc now is Lee. Kelly again. Kawabata. Front of the end zone, BFG with a chance to score, and the cut comes across. No mistakes from BFG on that second time around, and Slow White wondering why they didn't make more of this. Rare opportunities. It's the first time we've seen a turnover not result in a score for the D-line.
And they'll still need to get a break. The score is only within 2, so there is still that opportunity, but that's frustrating when you're on the goal line. You can't make the conversion. BFG, though, leading Slow White 10-8 in this mixed WUCC final.
Do you want to avoid overuse injuries? Cross-train. Get your exercise routine out of a routine and mix it up with a variety of activities. Your muscles, tendons, and joints will thank you later.
Welcome back to Cincinnati, the WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships and the mixed final. BFG with a 2-point margin over Slow White. Slow White in the black shirts, BFG in the white. Quick movement from BFG via Zolk and across to Johnson. Johnson playing on both lines at the moment, Emmy.
He has registered a lot of points in this tournament and nearly every point in this game, but that's what teams need to do. Put out your best to get those scores.
Zolk being pushed back by the BFG defense, cutting up the line, but the defense holds firm. Disc can't make it. Better from Slow White, jabbing it down that far sideline. Johnson has it now. Coming across the front is Go. And eventually, with the second time around, Caitlin Go grabs the disc, makes it count for Slow White. A little bit tentative and a little bit scruffy, but it still counts as a point.
There was a double cut to that same spot, but as a result, once the other slow player cleared out, that did give the narrowest of windows for Johnson to throw that to Go, but they used that far third of the field, going into very, very tight spaces. And even before those two cuts, the cuts from Slow White were largely horizontal, which made it a little more difficult of an angle to put. You can see that clear and go bobbled for a little bit, but had so much relief on her face when she saw, okay, I'm in the end zone, I caught it, the disc is in my hands.
So just 3 breaks in the first half, one of them to Slow White, but crucially 2 of them to BFG. The teams have traded. It's been a very clean game of ultimate so far. In total, there has been 7 turnovers. It's a low pull, caught quickly and giving BFG a chance to advance that disc. No float on the pull. Low disc diving into the turf, but Kelly does what needs to be done to keep it alive for BFG. Nice disc down from Kirk. You can understand why. They know that BFG have been really difficult to get any defensive glory from. They've not given up the disc easily, despite a lot of Slow White pressure. And BFG have ground this game out. They only broke twice in the first half. Were broken back once as well.
And it's a real testament to the Seattle Ultimate community. We saw Riot, the women's team, win, but it starts in middle school. And even in the YCC competitions, the U16 teams from Seattle are so dominant because their youth scene is so ingrained. Even Mario O'Brien here, the brain behind the Rise Up Ultimate videos, the education that they have, you see it cascade and cascade into the various divisions.
We do ask on our surveys for the players that we've asked all the players to fill in a little bit of information about themselves. And so many of the players from the Seattle area put coaching down as one of the things that they do to help put back into the community. And that impact doesn't tell immediately, but 10, 15 years down the line, you see these hot spots and growth areas of Ultimate. Seattle, one of 2 elite level mixed teams from the Seattle area. The other one mixed tape. Fierce rifles, the 2 teams. Slow White spreading the play into the center field with Westgate. And ascending the shot deep, Johnson sprinting clear and a high take. The defensive pressure was there from Linnea So, but could not get the block.
And Linnea Su was trying to get that positioning in front of Johnson, but credit to Johnson for taking that straight line to the disc and avoiding body contact, even though he knew he needed to go near where Sue was, but was able to cleanly get that disc to get the Slow White conversion.
And BFG calling 4 women on the line for this next point.
And Sue, who was the defender there, her twin sister is also on this BFG team, and they were co-nominated for the Callahan, Whitman's Callahan nomination from their school. That's the first time 2 people have been jointly nominated.
Is that because they didn't want to have a discussion about which one of them was best?
I mean, I am not a twin, but I do have a sister who's very close, and sibling rivalry is so real. But at the end of the day, you want your sibling to do their very, very best.
One of the nice things about the mixed division, there is so many sibling and also husband and wife partnerships in these teams. Kawabata. Looking down the line, just did the cut nicely. Lindsay, Simon Fox dishes back to Adam Simon and across to Pape. A slip in the midfield. Anna Baranas. And, Anna's going to take a break from the field. Lexi Zolk, quick to run on, take her place.
Baranas, a longtime captain of Slow White.
Jeff Pape and Chris Waite discussing. Pape now looking for an option forward. Reset throw, fakes the hammer. Rising each time. BFG had looked fluid in the past, but not quite as fluid here. But until the very final moment, the space opens up. Jeff Pape slides to the knee and takes in that final pass. They are within one of the gold medal. The team from Seattle are leading this one. So they're within two of the gold medal. 13-10 the score.
Pape, normal. Good thing he's wearing those neon sliders so he can get straight to that disc. BFG up 13-10.
The BFG team have
Heat illness strikes kids and adults alike during summer workouts. Watch for muscle cramps, fever, nausea, headache, weakness, or feeling faint. Act fast to get cool and get fluids.
That is excellent work from Slow White. Tanner Johnson running free, but the whole team involved in some very fast passes. BFG unable to get back on even terms.
And Slow White needed to score quickly so they can get their D-line back on to try and get that break. And they did just that. You can see a lot of throw and go, immediate continuations. That Zolk to Johnson connection was so nice.
Johnson first started playing Ultimate in 2011 at camp and instantly fell in love. So many players have that story to tell. Tried Ultimate through some bizarre arrangement and then went, oh, this is a sport for me. I'll stay with it.
And that camp is run by his now college coach, Tina Booth, who coaches the University of Massachusetts Zoo Disc team, who competed at the college championships this past spring.
Only age 21, Tanner Johnson, one to watch for the future. The Slow White defense set off with a mission. Can they take the disc off BFG? The deep shot goes downfield, pressure, contact made, the connection not made. And the contact nothing to do with that drop. Was it near the back of the end zone there, Emmy?
It appeared so, but we do not have best perspective here.
Patrick Barron eating up the ground against Kelly, turning on the afterburners to get dead level. The two made contact, and Barron finished on the ground, but Kelly couldn't collect it, and Slow White with a chance of a break here. Doherty. And Kelly comes sliding across the sideline. The athleticism from the number 2 shirt, incredible.
2-on-2. Kelly now strikes to get that.
And that's a real mark of a quality team. BFG losing the disc with that quick early shot that didn't quite connect, and then fighting so hard. Kieran Kelly in the corner of in the sideline, getting the block. BFG back on offense, looking to hold, take them within one of the victory. Into the end zone and in the front corner, BFG celebrate. It was the 6th shirt of Bryson Simon Fox sending it into the front corner.
And Kieran Kelly did not catch that goal initially at the back of the end zone for whatever reason. And they say, go get that disc back. That disc is yours. And it really seemed to be Kelly's attitude as he gets the D and then subsequently gets that score to hold and bring BFG within one of a title.
They have been resilient, this offensive line. When they have lost their disc, they fought tooth and nail to get it back. Slow White's D-line, their conversion rate, they've had the disc only 3 times, only 3 points the D-line have had the disc, but they've only managed to convert one of them into a point, and that really is difficult when on offense again. Slow White with Johnson. Caitlin Go. Lexi Zolk. Cuts up line, but big pressure from the BFG number 3, Mario O'Brien. Arm spread wide to stop the disc, but couldn't stop the disc getting to go. Disc will come back in on 4. That disc is going to go too far away. Caitlin Go not putting enough float on it.
So now BFG approaching a break opportunity, and this is a game point possession for them if they can convert.
Can they? The gold medal on the line. The team from Seattle have stood firm in the face of Slow White. Down the line the disc goes. They're nearly there. And a quick jab into the end zone, the easiest of passes to end the toughest of games. BFG, the stronger of the 2 sides. It has been a close, clean game of mixed ultimate, but the team from Seattle are the gold medalists, the chance to call themselves the world ultimate #1 seed coming into it. That's going to be a bitter rivalry that continues in the Seattle area between those 2 big mixed side, BFG and Mixtape. And we see the players high-fiving down. There was a few calls during the game, but they were all settled quickly.
And this is fairly early on in the U.S. club season. So these teams, many are going to the U.S. Open in 2 weeks. Club Nationals is this October in San Diego. So while BFG has taken this world's title, there's still a lot of season ahead of them.
Myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Emmy Fitzgerald, with the privilege of bringing you this final game from a whole week of Ultimate out here in Cincinnati. And the mixed division, the biggest of the divisions, 48 teams. And it really has been a festival atmosphere with teams from around the world coming together to play Ultimate, make new friendships and experience some fantastic weather apart from the last 2 days. It's been a brilliant week.
It really has, and there are some countries who only sent a mixed team. Some, it's because looking at their player roster, they want to prioritize mixed. Others prioritize the mixed division as their main division of play in their country. But it's so wonderful to see the different cultures of these clubs coming together, clashing with each other, and then we have such a fun, interesting game in our final match.
BFG the victors, BFG the gold medalists, and on the sideline now is Hannah Pendlebury alongside Rena Kawabata.
Thanks, Tom. Rena, what an incredible final, and that second half, my goodness, my heart was in my throat. So, new to the Seattle scene, obviously so very dominant as we've seen here on the world stage. You had 2 goals and 3 assists. How have you found the transition to this team that are based around such strong partnerships? How quickly did they bring you into the family?
Immediately, even before the season started, they were my friends. We were hanging out, and like even last season, I was hanging out with the team and getting to know everybody, and not with the idea of playing with them, but it just became so obvious that it was a comfortable and welcoming place to be, and they welcomed me with such open arms, and I'm so grateful for that.
Well, fantastic. And how have you found the transition, obviously playing with Traffic before in the women's division, to mixed?
Oh, it's really different. It's super different, but it's so fun. The men on this team are wonderful, and we talk a lot about gender equity and equity in general as a group, and we're really willing to listen to each other and hear each other's voices. The mixed game is super fast-paced, and this was a whole different experience and a really, really incredibly fun one.
Fantastic. And of course, with the excellent, neon look of the Under Armour, how are you guys going to be celebrating tonight in style, of course?
Yeah, we don't actually have any plans right now, but I'm sure it's going to involve some temp tats and some debaucherous something or other, and lots of music and lots of dancing.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoy celebrating this evening. Very well earned out there on the pitch. That's it for us. Stay tuned for the Ulti-World show, which will be coming very shortly to you.
I'm going to show you a few highlights of the game.
BFG coming out strong right away. That showcase of the speed, athleticism, the swagger that they brought every time they stepped on the field.
And the footage that's been brought to you, not just from these finals, but also all through the week, 4 fields streamed live to the internet from our broadcast partners, Fulcrum Media, Ulti-World and Fanseat. It has been a pleasure to work alongside a team of nearly 100 technical and broadcast professionals. And I hope wherever you have been enjoying it, you've been able to see all the games you want to see. Please do say thanks to the people that so many of them are volunteers, or they've given up their time for the love of the sport and a love of the glory. Wherever you have been watching us, I hope you've enjoyed it. From the World Ultimate Club Championships, Tom Stiles and Emmy Fitzgerald wishing you a very good day.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up. Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Coverage of the World Ultimate Club Championships. We just watched Seattle BFG take down Boston Slow White in what was really a great matchup. So few turnovers in the game. Obviously, BFG starting to get a little bit of pressure going in the second half, but really a clean game. Really what we saw all day here as we concluded the final game of the World Ultimate Club Championships. Alongside Rebecca Thompson, I'm Charlie Eisenhood. Thanks for joining us here. And we finally have a chance to kind of collect ourselves, catch our breath, and talk a little bit. We're going to have a couple of interviews here coming up. talk to somebody from BFG. Also, hopefully going to have Nab Rao, the president of the World Flying Disc Federation, on as well. So let's start with this game. But for now, there we go. We've got it. This tournament is in the books. This has been a wild ride. If we have a time to come back, we'll talk a little bit more about like the last 48 hours, which have been insane. So, you know, going from thinking there was, you know, we had tornado watch and lightning storms. We tried to come back out. We couldn't come back out because there was too many storms. And then we end up moving inside over the course of about 4 hours. So for now, we're going to throw it over to the award ceremony. Thank you for joining us. And thanks to our entire crew, in case we don't come back, for all of the great work that they've done. For Rebecca Thompson, I'm Charlie Eisenhood, and we'll talk to you soon.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Ceremony of the World Flying Disc Federation 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships Mixed Division is happening now. Our medals will be presented by the President of the World Flying Disc Federation, Nab Rao. The Tournament Organizing Committee Director of Volunteers, David Fry. The Tournament Organizing Committee Medical Director, Thug. And the Tournament Organizing Committee Director of Hospitality, Peter Tran. If you would, please put your hands together for your co-bronze medalists here at the 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships. From Philadelphia in the USA, AMP. And from Boston in the USA, Wild Card. Come on up, gang. Our third place trophy will be presented to the team captains by Tournament Organizing Committee Director of Volunteers, David Fry. And now, please put your hands together for your 2018 Mixed Division second place silver medalist from Boston in the US of A, Slow White. The second place trophy will be presented to Slow White's captains by Tournament Organizing Committee Medical Director Thug. Once again, your second place finishers in the mixed division, Slow White. And now, your 2018 World Ultimate Club Champions in the mixed division from Seattle, Washington, BFG. The Champions Trophy will be presented to the BFG team captains by President of the World Flying Disc Federation, Mr. Nab Rauch. And now, in celebration of Spirit of the Game, the Team Spirit Award for the mixed division goes to, from Brussels, Belgium, Flying Rabbits Ultimate Club. The Spirit of the Game Winners Trophy will be presented by Tournament Organizing Committee Director of Hospitality, Peter Tran. Once again, your Spirit of the Game award winners here in 2018. Belgium Flying Rabbits Ultimate Club. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the World Flying Disc Federation 2018 World Ultimate Club champion gold medalist in the mixed division, BFG. And we now have some very important words from a couple of folks that would like to thank you for